Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you for attending another week's Workshop Wednesday. I am Jennifer Slattery, the Director of Training and Membership for the League of Cities and Towns. And today we are excited to have Rhode Island Secretary of State Gregg Amore with us to talk about the RI250 Commission. And I know he's in a tight crunch in the car there, so we're gonna let you get right to it, Secretary.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And thanks to everybody who's tuning in here today. So 2026 marks the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence and the American Revolution. And obviously, Rhode Island was a key player in all of the events that led up to the revolution, led up to the founding documents. And just as we did in 1976, we are prepared to commemorate and celebrate Rhode Island's 250th anniversary, hence the name, the RI250 Commission. Sometimes you'll hear it referred to as the semi-quincentennial, which is actually not a word, but we'll go with it for the purposes of this effort. So we have a very engaged commission that was appointed through legislation that I have the honor of chairing. But what we know is that Rhode Island, and I think the governor says this every time he gives a speech, Rhode Island is, in essence, our 39 cities and towns. So our history is the history of our 39 cities and towns. And so what we would like to do is engage all of our cities and towns to form RI250 commissions within their cities and towns to work on commemorating, celebrating, identifying, educating, celebrating various milestones in the city or town's history that coincide with RI250 and the nation's history. So, you know, just off the top of our head, we are working in the commission on a Liberty Tree program. And if you're aware of American history, many of the colonists gathered, especially the revolutionary leaders, gathered under Liberty trees throughout the 13 colonies and planned and talked and worked through some of the issues as they approached the revolutionary period. What we hope to do is plant a Liberty tree in every single city and town, commemorated with a plaque for RI250. And that effort would be coordinated with the RI250 Commission, but it would be led by the cities and towns. And you would choose the location, you would choose what that plaque said in regard to your city and town. And we think that's just the tip of the iceberg. We believe that the cities and towns can really celebrate their history, commemorate their history through this process, which has already begun and will continue, and then obviously build up as we get to 2026. And so that's our intent. And we have our team here today, Lauren Fogarty, Rob Rock, who will work through this and answer any questions you may have and go through a quick set of slides that demonstrates what the commission's mission is and what we hope the commission will be for all Rhode Islanders. And so that is the 30,000-foot view and the Reader's Digest version of RI250. And I appreciate the opportunity to speak to everybody here. We are on a tight schedule at an event in Woonsocket, but I wanted to make sure I was here because this effort does not work without the coordination of our cities and towns, our mayors, our town managers, our city councils, our school committees, all should be involved in this effort, which commemorates and celebrates the 250th anniversary of the United States of America. So thank you, and I'll hand it over to Lauren at this point, and she'll take it from here.
Thank you, Secretary. All right, so the Rhode Island 250th Commission. In 2026, we will commemorate the 250th anniversary of Rhode Island and American independence, as the Secretary had just mentioned. And as we approach this anniversary, we have a unique and important opportunity to reflect on Rhode Island's important role in the revolution in American history since. The purpose of the 250th Commission is to determine the best ways to honor this history. Secretary Amore and 29 other individuals who make up the commission are deeply involved in Rhode Island's history and civic life and are really passionate about honoring and remembering the many unique moments and moments that have affected our state's history across the last 250 years and prior to that as well. So that was a slide of one of our last meetings and kind of a little tidbit into it. So on this slide, we have our mission statement. So prior to my time on the Rhode Island 250th Commission as the program coordinator, we sat down and really workshopped what the mission would be and what we're really trying to achieve. So the commission is guided really by this mission statement, which reads, the mission of the Rhode Island 250th Commission is to commemorate the 250th anniversary of events throughout history which influence the ideals of freedom, equality, and independence in our country. Our purpose is to highlight and acknowledge the significant role Rhode Island has played in the formation of our nation and as one of the original 13 colonies. Rhode Islanders will explore the intersection of all people who have impacted that history through coordinated events, curriculum that recognizes the many people that have inhabited these lands. So we're really working to find the best ways to commemorate these events and this history and the significant role that Rhode Island has really played in the formation of these values that the United States holds most dear. Next slide. Thank you. So the importance of local participation. So obviously the secretary has brought up how this really can't be done without the help and coordination of all municipalities. The commission is committed to honoring Rhode Island's revolutionary history, but that history is incomplete without the many smaller histories within it. The story of Rhode Island's many cities, towns, and villages are foundational to the story of Rhode Island. For this reason, the commission believes that it is crucial that our work is done in partnership with municipalities so that we can bring attention to those stories in order to properly commemorate the important role of each city and town and the role that they've played over the last 250 years of Rhode Island and America and their histories. The commission really encourages each city and town to create its own 250th committee so that we can lift up your histories, your stories, these unique stories, and create the most inclusive and dynamic commemoration possible. And then those are some photos of some of the events that are being held by our partner organizations and our most recent float in the Gatsby Days Parade. So some of the things that we're doing at least right now, and we hope to emulate through your municipalities going forward. So what might this look like? There are many different ways for cities and towns to commemorate their role in the last 250 years of American history, as well as celebrating prior histories of the First Peoples. For example, major public events such as parades or festivals can bring local communities together and inspire pride for one's community. Towns and cities could also sponsor educational events like a lecture at a local school or exhibit at a town library or a new commemorative installation, like informational signs and plaques on the bike path or memorials in a park. Something like the Liberty Tree Project that the secretary had mentioned is a good way to kind of have that cohesive monument honoring this particular history and pays homage to that history of colonists meeting under the Liberty trees and really organizing what would become the American Revolution and allow for us to have existed for the last 250 years. So furthermore, public art projects like murals or sculptures can be another means of supporting artists within your community and also bring attention to local history and bring it to the public eye. There is no really one size fits all plan for each city and town, as we all have different ideas, different amounts of funding, not to mention different histories. So we hope that you and your local committees will embrace whatever ideas you think would be best for commemorating the 250th in your town and or city. And here we have some of the events that we've coordinated. We had on the Oliver Hazard Perry, we had a resource session for teachers to try and help lift up this education, the civics component. And then we also have Gilbert Stewart standing in front of his birthplace This is an event held by one of our partner organizations, the Gilbert Stuart Birthplace and Museum. And this is work that's being done yearly already. And I think that if we're able to establish these local committees, and there's some sort of funding there, you can really lift up these groups that are in your communities and these key figures in your community's history, and really provide such a great level of attention and really rise to the occasion for this 250th semi-quincentennial milestone. So I'm partial to South Kingstown. I grew up in South Kingstown, and obviously we are celebrating our 300th anniversary this year. So I wanted to kind of lean on them for inspiration, because I think that they've done a really great job of commemorating this milestone. And I think that this is really a great reference for local communities for this 250th milestone coming up in 2026 to kind of utilize. So this is a very good example of the local 250th committees and what they may look like. The anniversary, the South Kingstown 300th anniversary steering committee has been working to commemorate this 300th anniversary for our founding year. And so the South Kingstown 300 committee has already organized the 300th anniversary parade, which I happen to participate in as well as the secretary himself. There's ongoing speaker series, and they talk about local history like the Narragansett Pier Railroad, and there's the creation of merchandise that they're selling at Belmont to really kind of mark this milestone, as well as fundraise and kind of bring it to that next level. They have reusable bags and scarves and coins and other types of clothing. So these are kind of some of those items that you guys could utilize. They have a lot of projects in the work leading up to this particular milestone. Commemorative benches are being put on our bike paths, public art installations in the center of town, as well as at the neighborhood guilds. They have done a great job of commemorating this milestone, and I think that we could really use this as a model for York City or town going forward to commemorate the 250th as opposed to the 300th. But it's really been a great moment in our town's history, and I think that it's really kind of promoted that civic pride and really gotten people engaged. And we had some of the best voter turnout at the most recent referendum, protecting the schools budget. So I think that this is, I don't really think that's a correlation. I think it's a great correlation, and I think it showcases how important these kind of events and moments of commemoration are. I think that this is a great way to showcase that. So I think if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to send more information on that. And I think that that's a great way to look at it and kind of model your own celebration after this. Next steps. We're hoping that you guys will create these local committees and really kind of get involved and participate in this milestone. But the commission is very excited about the prospect of working with cities and towns, and we're happy to support in any way that we can and promote any local efforts to recognize and commemorate the 250th anniversary. The secretary and I are certainly happy to meet with you and discuss how the Rhode Island 250th Commission would or can support your municipality in establishing a local 250th commission or committee and honoring your history, Rhode Island's history in these cities and towns. So thank you for taking the time to sit down with us today. And we are more than happy to answer any questions that you may have, and feel free to reach out to me. We'll be following up with an email this afternoon to really get our contact information out there and be a resource in moving this forward. So thank you.
Great. Thank you, Lauren. I would just invite folks at this point, anybody who'd like to ask a question, please feel free to take yourself off mute or turn on your camera. Would love to see your faces. Or you can use the raise hand function or the online chat as well, if that's better for you. So we'll see if anyone has any questions. Ethan, do you mind taking the or stopping your screen share so we can see everyone? Thank you. That's perfect. All right.
Or Nick, if you have anything that you wanted to add, Nick was my predecessor, so he's been really at the forefront of this effort and has made it the success that it's been at the state level. So.
Well, thank you, Lauren, and good morning, everyone. Great to be here, and I think this could be a great potential collaboration for our office and the commission to work with all of Rhode Island's 39 cities and towns. This is something that the commission is truly passionate about, which Lauren has mentioned, and I hope we can have a great working relationship leading up to 2026.
I think one resource that may actually have been in your slides, but it didn't stand out for me, is the National Commission website as well, just to see what other states are doing. What is the web address for that?
That's America250.org, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's an
So
org.
that's worth taking a look at too, folks, because I think it's I just happened to look at it this morning and it was pretty impressive. So so yeah.
We're certainly not one of the few. There's plenty of states that are really getting involved in this. I know that they're really trying to push to bring in more out west. Obviously, that their history is a little bit more new than some of the original 13 colonies, but it's I think it's a great moment to help really engage the public and bring people together. It's a great opportunity. So we're excited to take this to the next level up here at home and promote our important history that unfortunately gets forgotten and lost on people. So
Great. Well, if there aren't any questions, I will just close this out and say thank you to Lauren and team. We're thrilled to have you and the secretary, and we will share out this video and any of the other websites and information with all of our cities and towns. And if you have any questions, that will include Lauren's contact information, so we could facilitate that process. All right. Well, thank you so much for tuning in today, folks, and we will see you next week.
thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.